Welcome back on the AM show, and I'm joined by a master architect when it comes to politics in this country. He's a wonderful gentleman. I'll be showing his face to you shortly. But the segment, the news review segment on the AM show, is always brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. They're offering you, if you're a man watching me this morning, you want to stay virile, you want to achieve your full potential in every way. As a man, but have you checked your prostate? When was the last time you investigated, had a full body scan, and also considered your prostate? Maybe you don't even know what role it plays in your body, but it could get malignant. And when that happens, or if you have any problems there with enlargement and the rest, you could be in a terrible situation. So don't risk it. If you're a woman, maybe you've never checked out your fertility. You just think, oh, I'm a woman. As you produce your eggs and all of that, as they depreciate in quantity over time, you don't know what is happening there. You do not know, maybe for some things, before they begin to show signs, then it means things have come to a head. So as a woman, do you know your fertility status? Do you know whether you're developing fibroids and the rest? That is why for these and more, you can reach out to Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. And they're saying that if you're a man, you come for prostate screening. It's free, gratis. If you're a woman, you're coming for fertility screening. It is free. Now, here's where you can locate them. Wala. Here in Accra at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard. Kumasi Kronomo Abwe here behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's Takrady, Anaji Estate. There's Tema Community 22. There's Techiman Hanswa and the CMI Nzama. Their call lines are 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. But just the start of the news review, and I'm joined by another one of my brothers from another mother. He goes by the name Samuel Mbura. Sam.
Ben.
Faboom.
Good morning.
How would you say good morning, it's good to be here in your language?
We can say Bulika. Or
Buliga.
Bulika.
Bulika.
Bembe.
Bembe.
Yeah.
What does the Bembe mean?
Bembe means good morning. Bulika means good morning. Okay. Just like the Fanti and Chi. So you see that someone says something different. I mean, wants to greet in Chi in the morning, the same as what their council say, but the accent or the dynamics in the language. So that is just basically. So if you go to the Upper East region, for instance, those who are in Bongo say bem bem. Bem bem means good morning. If you go to Bonga, they speak the Grunier as well, but they will say Bulika.
Okay.
So you go to Talisi, for instance, then they will say Biegu Biegu. You realize that the B sound passes through in the greeting. So that's how my language is. It's dynamic, but I am from Bongo, so I will greet Bembe. Then you respond Naba.
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 Yeah.
Okay. I see. So let's do this.
Yeah. Bulika.
Would I have to?
Yeah.
Or just the Naba?
No, just
straight
Naba.
Straight up.
Yeah, straight up.
Okay.
Bulika or Bembe.
I've learned something this morning.
Yeah.
At least for those of you who would say, indeed, the Wezo and the Yamamwache and all of that, Akwaba, Yenina Yawomubi. Would they say Sandazwa?
Sandazwa, that's how
yeah.
I don't.
Sandazwa.
Yeah, Sandazwa.
I think
that's
say
Hausa.
Sanukade.
Sanukade. I'm not actually good at Hausa, so I'm unable to.
I speak a little.
I see.
You know, the other day I was in traffic. Interesting situation, and this motor rider, just viciously crossed me at the Afrikiko traffic light.
Yeah.
You know, heading where you round and head towards the Jubilee House.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I lowered the screen to my side, and then he went like, what did he even say?
He spoke in Hausa?
Yeah, he spoke in Hausa. And then I interjected. Honestly, I was a bit, I interjected. I went back at him and I asked him, Kacheme. And I nearly added something. Then I could tell the shock on his face. He just looked at me like, this guy.
That's actually
some of the places we've lived and the things we've experienced. Sometimes people see you and they think, oh,
yeah, that's one of the languages that I would like to learn. I've tried several years, but
that's interesting.
Not picking up. I don't know, Hausa, Ewe, and then Ga. These are the 3 languages that I would want to learn more.
Okay. Well, we'll be looking at the online portals, as today we do not have any newspapers. But I'd like, there's this document that it's been a while since I looked at it. Today I want to go back to it and take a look at some of what it says. Okay. Many people are not privy to this, but it is the Ghana at 100 document. And it's not something that is shared. It's not something that is out there. But some of us, thankfully, have got that document. And I'll be reflecting with you and the rest of Ghanaians on some of what we aspire to and the reality on the ground. Of course, later when I share my blunt thoughts, I'll also get into some of those matters. But for you, Samuel Mbura, throughout this week, what have been some of the most topical issues that have come up? Of course, there's the accusation you covered that look, we decide district assemblies that
was actually
being
yesterday.
used on behalf of the vice president to induce.
That's the allegation coming from the Alan camp. Yesterday, the party elections committee called for a meeting with the aspirants, 10 of them. So before then, we know that the president met the party communicators and made it clear that he was not going to support, or he wasn't supporting any aspirant ahead of the August 26 Superdelegates Congress, which aims at trimming down the aspirants that are 10 to 5. Do not go to the main Congress in November to select the flag bearer for the party. Right. So on the back of that, I saw Boabia Samoa, who is with the campaign team of the former Trade and Industry Minister, Alan Kyerematen. Then I posed that question to him, that what do you make of the president's comment? Do you think that it now brings finality to the perception that the establishment is behind one candidate? And he made a point that the president's decision to announce this to him, it is a compelled one because of the concerns that are coming from the rank and file of the party and from the public and all that. So, but he thinks that it came at a time that his establishment is using the state resources to support the establishment candidate, which is the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So he cited an example that they were at the Oti region in one of their rounds, and then they noticed that the District Assembly Common Fund was being used to procure weedicides and fertilizer to be distributed to farmers. And these were surprisingly delegates of the party. So they tried knowing what the motivation was behind this particular move by some of the district assemblies. And what they discovered was that it was part of the machination from the establishment within government to support the vice president's campaign. I asked him for evidence. He said they went and met the distribution ongoing, and they think that it's not in the right direction. So the Bawumia camp also responded, said that these are wild allegations. If you think that you have the facts, why don't you go to court or maybe bring it out or raise the issues for them to be investigated? Because the issues you are raising are really critical ones. So that's the accusation and the response from the Bawumia team. And on top, Newsnight, we spoke to the Oti regional chairman, Juan Evans Dapa, and then he said that he's not aware of such activities ongoing on in his region, but they have interest in it. They'll look into it. But for now, we should disregard them as a targeted propaganda from the Alan camp against its opponent. But before then, I spoke with our Oti regional correspondent, that's Peter Senon, and then he said that per his checks, he's unable to authenticate such claims and all that. So this is the back and forth about the alleged use of state funds to procure fertilizer and weedicides for delegates in the Oti region.
Interesting developments there. We've also had some interesting developments on the back of Cecilia Dapa.
Exactly.
And everything that is happening, the AG's intervention, and one of the lawyers for the accused saying that his client stole absolutely nothing, and that the intervention by the Attorney General is, a misuse or an abuse of his powers and all of that. I want us, right before we get to the online portals, and we have time, we can we can get there shortly. I want to run this by you. I don't know whether you've seen the Ghana at 100 document, and this is something that, look, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, John Dramani Mahama, Evans Atta Mills, may so rest in peace, John Ajakum Kufuor, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, all in a way have contributed to. But this is the plan. And I wanted to read it for all of you, Ghana, to hearken to this and tell me what you think. It says, our resilient past and ongoing transformation agenda gives us cause for hope for a better Ghana beyond aid. The participatory democracy and sustained democratic governance in the country present a huge opportunity for a brighter future. And then it talks about the portrait of Ghana at 100. Mind you, this is 2023. In 2057, we'll be 100 years old. But what will Ghana look like at 100? That's the question. So today, as we celebrate Founders Day, I felt we should walk through some of our aspirations, our goals, and find out whether in 2023, how many years away? 2023, 27, so that'll be 31.
Yeah. You're looking at the next century.
No.
So
I
mean,
31 years.
When is Ghana?
31, in 31 years.
Okay, 31 years, yeah.
Is it 31? Let me
so Ghana, at the moment, we know that...
23... 27, that will give you 50. So yeah, some 30, 31 years time. Some 30, 31 years time. This is what we aspire to be. I just want to read it.
All right.
Samuel, and tell me what you think and whether you think we're even on course. By 2057, it is envisioned that Ghana will be a high-income country with the following minimum characteristics. 1, self-confident citizens with high standards of patriotism anchored on discipline, good work ethic, who put the welfare of the country above self-interest. Our politicians themselves are not living up to this. 2, nominal GDP.
Okay.
Interesting. Nominal GDP of approximately $3.4 trillion and per capita GDP of not less than $50,000 equivalent per capita.
I see.
If you're an individual, you should be able to earn that per year.
In Ghana here.
Resilient, service-oriented, industrialized, and globally competitive economy. Basically moving beyond taxation to production, like we've said. A business and financial hub in the West African sub-region. Modernized agriculture for sufficient food to ensure food security and raw materials for agro-based industries and exports. Minimum income disparities. Robust pension scheme. Affordable and diversified energy supply. Effective, efficient, dynamic, and inclusive institutions that ensure accountability, integrity, and transparency with negligible levels of corruption. Let me end it here.
All right.
It goes as far as, there are so many of them. This particular list ends at 18. But let me end it there. On that score of effective, efficient, dynamic, and inclusive institutions that ensure accountability, integrity, and transparency with negligible levels of corruption. Look at where our GDP is now.
Yeah.
We have just about 3 decades to go. 2023.
Yeah.
We have just about 3 decades to go. I don't know what you think. Is this realistic, looking at the path we're on?
It's possible, but it depends on the mindset. The problem in Ghana is not about leadership. That's the view I've always held. That the problem we face now as a country is not about the leaders, but the mindset of the people out there. Because the leaders leading the country are the reflection of the people. Look, we have been talking about elections upon elections. You go to certain constituencies, they know that they are so impoverished, they need development, yet they know that the person they are presenting may not be competent, but because of the fact that the person brought goodies or money, resources to come and share to them individually, they prefer such people to people who are, development-minded, people who have that social connection, social capital. I have always believed...
Or maybe even the intellectual capital.
I've always believed that it is not about what you have in your pocket or the resources that you have in terms of the cash as a person, but it depends on the social capital, the number of people that you have around you that can help you. We have MPs who are in opposition. However, they are able to develop their communities. The fact is that it is not that they are relying on government subventions to be able to do that, but because of the connections they have built, it's because of their social capital. Okay, one day I become an MP for Bongo. This is just an example. I know Benjamin. Benjamin has this expertise.
Hopefully, it is an example that
it's an example.
It's
it's an example I'm just making. So I know Benjamin. I placed a call to Benjamin. Ben, I want you to help my constituency with this. You are able to mobilize resources. Maybe you also have other contacts that will say, I have a very good friend who is very good. We want to help him out with this. Then they come in. But if you look at the decisions that we take at the citizenry level, it goes on to haunt us for years because of the simple mistakes that we make. So for us to achieve some of these things that the objectives that have been captured in this 100-year developmental plan or whatsoever, we have to start changing our mind. We cannot put the people that we have given the power to out of our own actions, then tend to blame them. If you think that they are not right, elections are there, take them out, bring in the right people. We will complain on several occasions
we've not
that
been able to do that.
That's the problem.
The right caliber of people to steer the affairs of the country. After Nkrumah, we've been in a shambles, basically. And we had Agenda 2020. And now some people, Osafo Mafu and the rest, were telling us, you can't even plan beyond 10 years. You shouldn't plan for 40 years. But even the Chinese are doing it.
Yeah.
They have done that consistently. Even they who are where they are, they are doing it.
It's because of the mindset. It's because of the mindset revolution. You're just making an example of how this motor rider rode carelessly before by you. In other countries, the advanced countries, you don't need a policeman to stand and direct you that this is traffic, slow down. This is a zebra crossing, you have to slow down. Go at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour on this stretch of the road. So the people from the onset have been conscientized. So if they become leaders, it reflects. I was told a story about how if you go to some of the Francophone countries, a friend was telling me about Burkina Faso, how they take measurements. Everything that they do is accurate. They make sure that, okay, if I'm going to build a house, I need like 10 bags of cement. They measure it accurately in that regard.
The Bible will say that it's only a fool who starts building without having calculated and made an assessment of how much it will cost and all of that, because in the end, then people will laugh at you and say, oh, he started something and couldn't finish.
So you do certain things haphazardly. You look at the universities, for instance, where the student politics mostly begins and transcends into mainstream elections. Look at the number of reported cases of corruption, even with management at the level of student politics or SRC management. You have such people coming into mainstream politics. They eventually come to lead the country, take decisions for us and all that. So if we don't start from the bottom, start conscientizing and then telling the younger generation that, look, the destiny of the country is in your own hands. It depends on your mindset. Let's embark on a mindset revolution for us to be able to achieve it. If not, this one will continue to be the grammar that our children, our great-grandchildren will come and be reviewing every year, that this was a document that was put together about 100 years ago or 30 years ago. They will still struggle. If you don't change our mindset, corruption, bad governance will continue to fester in the system.
And we have 34 years to be specific. I mean, off the top of my head, we have 34 years to go. And I just did the calculation on this. You see, when we talk about the fact that by 2057, we want to have a nominal GDP of $3.4 trillion. That is the GDP now of some advanced countries in the world, okay? You want a nominal GDP of 3.4 trillion. The last time I checked, I could be wrong, our current GDP hovers around 70-something billion dollars, okay? What that means, if you do the division, is that our current GDP is around 2.9%, less than 3% of what we are projecting. That in some 34 years' time, we will be doing. This is a drop in the bucket. Less than 3%. Yet in 30 years or 34 years, you think you can wave some magic wand and all of a sudden you have an economy. And mind you, other economies are also speeding up. By that time, where will those economies be? Are we on any trajectory towards, achieving some of these goals? We talk about strong institutions. Obama came and said, we don't need strong men, we need strong institutions.
A lot of institutions
are not working.
Exactly.
Because
and even the roles are
our
conflicted.
executive
Just look at
so top heavy.
Just look at the case of the
everything
Cecilia,
is.
Look at the case of Cecilia Dapa.
Yeah.
Okay, we have the police on one side, the Attorney General now taking charge of the criminal prosecution.
Almost
of the case.
appearing to take sides.
Fine. So OSP is also doing this work. Is Shrine supposed to go, or someone is supposed to petition? Is there a role Iyoko can play? So you see that the roles are somehow intertwined. So you don't have a clear-cut point that this
something comes. Should we let Shraj do it?
Or this
should the special prosecutor
it's
take it up?
conflicted.
Why is the AG? I mean, and that goes back to some of what was raised, the concerns about setting up this whole office of the special prosecutor and the duplication or replication
of roles.
Yeah. And it only goes to make systems worse off.
That's it.
Worse off. But anyway, those were just some reflections I wanted to share with you, Ghana, for just to get us thinking on a day like this. 3.4 trillion. Look at where we are. It's not about the big talk. As for the big talk, dear, everyone can talk.
Yeah, exactly.
How to get to the end.
Yeah, beyond the mere talks.
You've given me an idea. Ghana, beyond the talk.
Yeah.
I'll note that down. Maybe that will be a theme for Blunt's Thoughts.
Exactly, for next week.
Someday. But let's get into myjoyonline.com. Let's start from there. NDC lashes out at Akufo-Addo's administration over claims it has stabilized the economy. Parliament orders Finance Minister to present DDEP for consideration. Maybe let's look at that story about the NDC lashing out at Akufo-Addo's administration over those claims. Sam, would you like to take that story?
Right. So, the leadership of the NDC came to multimedia here as part of their familiarization visit, and that's where this comment was made. That's the General Secretary of the party, Fifi Kwete there. So they think that the economy, and let me just quote him, he said, the kind of collapse we have seen in terms of the economy is one that requires a certain amount of humility. To rush quickly and want to start beating your chest and applauding, it indicates that somehow they have not learned as quickly as they should. So the concern here has to do with the government touting itself in the achievements in the financial sector. They talk about...
The finance minister says we've turned the corner. And honestly, I don't know which corner we've turned.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you say we are gradually turning the corner, it makes sense. But to say we've turned the corner, suggests we're out of the woods. And you don't have to be an economist or a finance person to know that
so if
this corner
if you are turning the corner, what is our debt now as a country? We are hovering around 600 billion.
In fact, recently, on the back of what has happened with the central bank, we've added over 20% to our debt stock.
So we are running
approaching 600 billion Ghana cedis.
So if we are really turning around the corner or turning the corner in the economy, why are we still having all these challenges? We know that they do attribute to the what do you call it, the war in Ukraine and Russia. They're talking about COVID still having an impact on the economy. But it's a whole lot. Look at the lack of frugality in the system, how we spend money, the reports coming in. I don't know where you've read fully the Auditor General's report. You've read what the BOG has captured in this audited report, losing over 60 billion. They are attributing it to the government DDEP program ahead of the IMF bailouts and all that. And I'm not sure our woes will end here. It will continue.
But at least...
Because we are getting into another election year.
Yeah, and that is the problem, because we know about indiscipline, recklessness when it comes to... financial recklessness when it comes to electoral years. Even the years preceding.
Yeah.
We're already seeing that. Some candidates from the ruling party going around and how money is sprayed, buses and, all of that. And sometimes the very silly rationalization that is given to it, almost as though, you people can't think.
Yeah.
We can tell you anything and you'll swallow it. But at least, this government has been able to do something.
Yeah.
Because, the IMF money, you must meet certain requirements, milestones. And on some different fronts, they've been able to meet those requirements, guaranteeing that by close of year, we'll get the second tranche of $300 million from the IMF, making $900 million we would have secured from the IMF. But then again, even as you look at that positive, then you look at the negative of the fact that you see what the Auditor General recently put out, over 15 billion.
Exactly.
Losses, wastage. The good thing there, over 99, I think 99.6%
Yeah, can be recovered.
is recoverable.
Yeah, you can recover
The
it.
question, Samuel Umbura, will it be recovered?
That's the question.
Do you remember there was a time when even the finance ministry, there were ghost names, people drawing 21,000.
On in salaries. People take scholarship,
How
go to
can that
study
happen?
in the US or South Africa, they don't come back, they are still paid 2 years and all that. Yesterday, we spoke to Professor Samuel Entry, he's the Dean of Students at the UPSA School and University. And then he is also an auditing expert on the SMS. And his point was that, look, this annual ritual of publishing the Auditor General's report without punishing those culpable is what is giving them the motivation to continue. Look, you have the principal spending officers who don't do due diligence and cause these financial losses to their institutions. Why are you not going after them? Say, charge them. Let them pay. Next time, it will serve as a deterrent to others not to do that.
Do you remember the Kroll and Associates story? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. So it's quite interesting that every year we talk about the leakages in the system, yet pragmatic measures are not taken.
It's like fetching water with a basket.
Quite interesting there.
And that also brings me to the lack of will.
Yeah.
I will say it here. The president lacks the will. The vice president lacks the will. The ministers lack the will. Our parliamentarians lack the will to do what is required. Look, you can tell me whatever you like. Hold on.
But I just want to chip this in. But as citizens, are we playing that watchdog role aside what the media is doing? Are we getting the backing from the citizens to push them to do the right thing?
Because some citizens, a few people, are benefiting from the system, and those people will push everything to ensure the system remains the same. Because when it does, who are the beneficiaries?
Exactly.
They are. So it brings me to that next story that we can see. Ghana Integrity Initiative, GACC, call for urgent passage of Conduct of Public Officers Bill. Look, Cecilia Abnadapa, no one will hang her.
Oh, no.
She has, in this dispensation, in this jurisdiction, you are innocent until proven
guilty.
Yeah. Yamayans, that's what we accept. But all these Anansi stories about
the ownership
and
of
Sawa funeral and they gave money.
Yeah.
And maybe it belongs to her husband. He's been an architect for fine. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. Oh, it belongs to her brother. The point is, funding should have a source.
Yeah.
The source should be what?
No.
Be able to be proven, right?
Yeah.
You come to equity, come with clean hands. Exactly. Where is your evidence? So, give us the evidence. And that is where the Conduct of Public Officers Bill comes in. Exactly. Because it will address some of these matters. You are a politically exposed person. Yeah. Wait, you've put up this building. Okay, this building per our assessment is worth, let's say, 750,000 Ghana cedis. Yeah. Your salary is X, official salary. We do not know any other means of sustenance of yours. Can you, madam, can you, sir, prove how you got this? We've seen politicians acquire buildings in the AU Village. Do you know what it takes to get a building in AU Village? Do you know how much they go for?
Very expensive.
With swimming pools and all of that. People who, before politics, had not done any work. On both sides, we have seen young people that back then we were practically in university with, did no work, NDC, NPP. They came to power and all of a sudden, I mean, they have tons of cash to splash.
So that is what...
And you ask yourself, how is it possible? So we are working, we are not seeing that kind of money.
So how did
what
you get
do you do?
So your annual salary, how much is it? Your allowances that you take during your committee meetings, how much is it? Do you have other side businesses?
All of them together. Let's even add your ex-gratia.
So how did you get this? But we lack the will as citizens, not only the government or the institutions responsible, but as citizens to question them, because we are always expectant of them to bring us goodies. When MPs go home, I know a couple of friends and brothers who hardly go home because they tell you that, look, every visit that I make, I spend no less than 100,000 cedis. So let's say in a month, I visit my constituency thrice or even twice.
300K.
300K. Because the demands are so overwhelming. Let me tell you this. It will shock you that some people even go to their MPs to ask them to support them to marry their wives.
Yeah.
Yes, they asked money from
the other day
when
the Drapa MP, or was it some other MP? The person was asking for He says he's starting a ride-hailing business, Uber, and he wants a phone.
Yeah.
I've had some of them tell me here that, look, people reach out to them, oh, me see me dying, foundation, I need money for the foundation.
So all these
sorts of ludicrous
pressures on them will push them to do what they can do to survive.
But the other side of the coin is because our leaders, look, in political science back then, undergrad studies, they would tell you people elect these parties to come into power to deliver the bacon, so to speak, to deliver certain things, the boons. Now, when people see that you are not delivering that, they find alternative means of getting what they feel belongs to them.
Yeah.
So then, especially in this very political system we've created, where members of parliament are not agents of development, but we forced them into that position. Yeah. When they see you, they think you have sacks of money over there. Yeah. So when we see you, we voted for you. Honorable, Charlie, it is time to
sort us out.
Sort us out. That is the convoluted situation we've created in Ghana. Because we are not giving the people, because if you give the people what they need, the good roads, the hospitals, a proper economy that can absorb,
some of them will not
enhance their economic rights. Masa, if you are earning a very, very, very good salary and you are all of that, would you go begging anybody or accept inducement and stuff like that?
That's the challenge. So beyond the political class, we also have the other people who are not politically exposed. They say they are technocrats, but their livelihood, you go to their hometowns, the money that they are making. How are you able to do that? Mostly the politician is on the spotlight for accusation, for slaughtering, when it comes to public funds and all that. But we have technocrats who are equally having questionable assets. How did you acquire it? You work as a director for a particular ministry or a particular institution. How are you able to gather this amount of money to afford you the luxury that you have? To the extent that it will be able to fund you to go into active partisan politics. So it's more or less a multifaceted issue that we need to approach. One, from the political class. Two, the citizens, and then the technocrats as well. And I think that with this particular bill, it will help us to an extent, if only that will and commitment is there to enforce it to the latter.
And we only pray. Some of you are asking me to share the Ghana at 100 document. I do not have that permission yet because of where we sourced that information from. But we'll be sharing bits and pieces of that. I just had to acknowledge, so I let you know. Ordinarily, I would have shared with you, but it's not information I can just put out there for now. Hopefully, when it becomes that accessible, then I can do that. The title of my blunt thoughts today, and I've told you, if you've missed any of my blunt thoughts today, you don't want to miss this one. Trust me. I've titled it A Forced Haircut, A New Pipe Dream, and pipe dream there, I'm talking about affordable housing and Pokwasi, and a cycle of wastage, Ghana on the ropes. Are you?
Really? That's quite interesting.
I'll take you all the way back to Nkrumah and some of the things we've never contemplated and some of the things in housing that he did that has not been mentioned.
I think last 2 weeks, I was on my way to Ada. There's a housing project just on, I'm not much familiar with it.
We have to go though, but quickly on that.
But I saw the houses and I was told that it's part of the housing projects and they've not been occupied for a couple of years. So we'll spend money, build these houses, later strike that one out, come get more money, go to start new projects. It's
the nonsensical leadership or misleadership in Ghana. And right before we go, happy 84th birthday to Mr. Daniel Ajay of Daniad's Insurance Brokers. Wishing you God's blessings, strength, and vitality. Kingsley Otu sent in that one. Happy 84th birthday to Mr. Daniel Ajay of Daniad's Insurance Brokers. This segment was brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. They're offering free prostate screening if you're a man, free fertility screening if you're a woman. Reach out to them at any of their branches. Accra Pentex opposite the Shell signboard. Kumasi Kronoma Bwehia behind the Angel Educational Complex. Takrade Anaji State Tema Community 22. Techiman Hanso and Esiaman Zima. The call lines 0274 0244 867 061 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. The end to chronic disease. You have a request?
I wanted to find out from your motivation for today. Last week you shared a message. Some people were motivated. So today, what's your message?
Let's maintain hope. It's something I actually put at the tail end of my. You know, you can lose everything, but when you lose hope.
Yeah. You know,
So let's, regardless of the situation, times are hard.
Exactly.
Times are difficult. The times are barren, economically speaking. I went somewhere yesterday. The sort of things I heard nearly broke me. But let's keep hope alive. That's it.
But I'm always of the school of thought that, look, the greatness that you are witnessing today, don't think that that's all. More is still on your way. The challenges that you are facing, don't think that the challenges will end. There's a bigger challenge ahead. Prepare your mind, prepare yourself ahead of it so that you'll not be shocked by any eventuality. And that's my message. But today is the birthday of our brother, Eko Sam. You know, today is a mother's birthday.
Yeah.
You know, Eko has been a very good brother, like yourself, since I came to multimedia. And I must say happy birthday to his mother, Mother Margaret Ama Sam. You are such a wonderful mother. We thank you for giving us such a troublesome brother.
Yeah.
God bless you.
And speaking of trouble, trouble is like his middle name. Anyway, that's the note on which we wrap the news review. Up next, we serve you Prime Take with Muftar Nabila Abdullah. It's another part, the second part, if you like, of his interaction with Joe Lati. Do stay.
Give us a brief.